What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jalea Christine, and today I'm going to be helping you make hard decisions with ease. If you have ever just been in the middle of like two choices and not sure what to choose, or you just keep asking people for advice but you still feel unsure, or you're going back and forth and teeter-tottering between one or the other, I just want you to know that you are in the right place today. I am going to give you 3 simple steps on how you can make hard decisions with ease. So if that is something that you are interested in, make sure to watch till the end of the video. And without further ado, let's get right into it.
You are now tuned in. Let's get it.
Step number 1 is to lift the fog. Now, I know you're familiar with that fog that comes with being uncertain. You're uncertain about something, you don't know which direction to go in. There's always going to be fog. However, awareness brings clarity. And so if you want to lift the fog of uncertainty and have the clarity that you want, you're gonna need to have awareness, and specifically awareness around what you're thinking. What happens when there's no awareness? When you don't have awareness around what you're thinking, but you still have to make a choice, you end up deciding out of foggy reasons. And so some of those foggy reasons can be, other people, whatever they're saying, or maybe fear, or maybe just convenience. But you still want to get to the point of having that clarity of mind. And how do you do that? Some of the practical things that I recommend are journaling. Open your journal and just write down, do a brain dump, or do a thought download. Download everything that you're thinking. Ask yourself, what am I so afraid of? What are other people saying? Do I agree with their opinions? Get to journaling and just write it down and write it down. And eventually, once you start writing, I've even had times where I'm not sure what to write because I'm just so overwhelmed. So I literally write, I'm not sure what to write right now. I feel really overwhelmed. And after I just literally keep my pen moving, whatever random stuff that doesn't make sense, eventually the right stuff will start flowing out and I'll be like, okay, I see that. Okay, I'm aware, like, wow, I'm afraid that I'm gonna end up like my parents, or I'm gonna end up like, something like whatever. Some deep stuff can really come out when you just gain awareness of what you're thinking. Sometimes I even do audio journals. And so I will literally just click record on a voice note on my phone and I'll just start talking. And it kind of feels like there's someone to talk to. And like the audio is like, gives me that feeling of someone's listening or something is listening my phone. But still, sometimes I do that when I just don't want to write or my thoughts just feel super jumbled. Another one of the practical ways that you can lift the fog is talking to yourself in the mirror. If you're not familiar with this, it might sound kind of funny, but listen, when you have to make a hard decision and you are in the face of a circumstance that, you really just got to decide, sometimes you just need to talk to yourself. And all of these are ways that you can kind of reconnect to what's happening inside of you. But this one is super special to me because I've been doing it for years and it's helped me so much. Like literally just did it this morning where I look in the mirror, I look at myself in my eyes and I'm like, hey girl, and don't be looking at what you don't like, oh, there's bags, oh, my face is puffy, oh my gosh, I have flyaways. Not the goal. I have a mirror behind this, but that's not the goal here. You need to look into your eyes, look into your soul and ask yourself, what's going on in there? And if there's a lot going on in there for me, immediately I'll look at myself, I'll just start crying because it's like, oh my gosh, someone sees me. Like I see, finally, I'm not ignoring myself. I'm not ignoring my emotions. And so you need to just get to that point of like, you get in touch with your own soul, because when you can look at yourself and talk to yourself and you can kind of coach yourself through some of these things, like, why are you afraid? Or why do you feel undecided? Why does this decision feel best? And I promise you, even in those moments where you feel like you're never going to get to a solution, you will. The last practical way that you can lift the fog is prayer. And so I actually recommend doing 1 through 3 first before you get to this last practical tip of lifting the fog, because prayer is a two-way street. And so prayer with God is not something that we just like go and dump everything and then we run away after. Like prayer is a sort of meditation. Like when you speak to God, he speaks back to you, but you have to listen. You want to make sure that you just lift all that gunk out of your mind and get all those things off your heart so that you can actually go into prayer with a clear heart and a clear mind and just be able to meditate on the goodness of God and be able to hear him. Step 2 is this: keep your mind over your circumstances. And I want to let you in on a little secret here. This is something I teach my clients, that your mind actually controls the outcome, not the people, places, and things around you. Now, I know you're like, but this person is involved in this, and this is involved in this, and this circumstance has everything to do with the outcome. The outcome is actually in the way that you think about the circumstance. So the people, places, and things around you only influence it if you allow them to. But if you, in your mind, have the supportive thoughts to believe whatever decision I make, I made the right choice and I will be okay, it actually doesn't matter what decision that you make or what you decide, because you're going to have the supportive thoughts to support the empowered you to keep going. So I want to talk about this word hard, because I know in my title I wrote how to make hard decisions with ease, but this word can actually be problematic. Just hear me out here, okay? The word hard is actually a choice of meaning that we assign to certain circumstances. And so I remember I was in a program with my life coach one time, and I was telling her, like, when there's hard things that I have to do in my life, I like to remind myself, and I say this sentence, I can do hard things. And I imagine myself like climbing up a mountain, and I'm pushing, and it's really hard and it's difficult, but eventually I make it to the top. And when I think about that, and I think about myself being able to walk up a steep hill or something like that, my brain is like, yeah, you can do hard things. You can't do hard things. But here was the problem with that. I am giving my brain evidence of things being hard instead of evidence of things being easy. And I want you to hear what I'm saying here, because when you say something is hard, you're actually just putting your own opinion on something that's creating more difficulty in your brain. Because what does your brain do? Your brain doesn't want to do anything hard, so it resists it. It's procrastinating. It's dodging it like the plague, because your brain doesn't want to do anything hard. Your brain is wanting to conserve its energy and do the easiest thing possible. You're actually creating more difficulty for yourself when you say making this decision is hard, or I'm in a hard circumstance or a hard season. And I'm not being all legalistic here, like you can never say the word hard in your life, but I want you to just stand at the place of like, okay, check yourself. Is me saying this is hard actually contributing to this being easy for me? Because the goal of this video is to help you get to the place of ease, making these decisions with ease. Once you get to the point of awareness where you're like, okay, this possibly could be contributing to the difficulty of the situation and all of my thoughts around it, maybe I should stop saying hard. You just have to give your brain evidence of ease at that point. Because here's the thing, when it comes to the brain, your brain has not the limbic system. What is it? The RAS. The RAS is called the reticular activating system. It's in the back of the brainstem, like back here. And it gives you evidence of what you believe. And so this little part of your brain is going to be one of the contributing factors of how your brain serves you evidence of your beliefs. So it's like the confirmation center. Like when you see something, it's like, oh, that confirms a belief that this is hard, or that confirms a belief that this is hard. But if you have the belief in there working, that it is easy for me to make this decision, it is easy for me to choose, it's easy for me to create supportive thoughts for myself that will empower me in the future. When you have those beliefs in there, your brain is going to look for the evidence of those beliefs. And so that's why it's so important to speak the thing over yourself that you actually want to believe. That's going to help your brain. So if you keep telling yourself, this is hard, I don't really think that's going to help you much. I think you need to get to the point where you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, it is easy for me to make decisions. And give yourself evidence of it. Have an evidence journal. Look for evidence, because your brain may not look for it at first, but you manually look for the evidence of, oh, it is easy for me to choose because I can journal and it helps me to think. Or it's easy for me to make decisions because I can look at myself in the mirror and I can get down to what I'm feeling, and then I can feel free from those emotions that were holding me back. So use the things in your life that you see and look for this evidence of it is easy. And eventually your brain is going to start grasping this belief, and it's going to actually become a part of you, and making decisions will be easier for you because you're not putting all these brain mental blocks and these thoughts that are creating more difficulty for you. Step number 3 on how to make hard decisions with ease is to have your back. So after you lift the fog, right? After you choose intentional thoughts and you make the decision and you've settled on something and you've got the thoughts to support it that no matter what happens, I'm going to grow in this circumstance and I didn't make the wrong choice. Whatever thoughts that you need for yourself. You need to remember to have your own back in this. And this actually goes back down to the thought level of if you have a thought in your brain of I can't make good decisions, well, your brain's going to be looking for evidence of this. And so you're going to be, whatever choice that you made, you're going to be looking for reasons as to why you can't make good decisions. But if you have your back and you're like, you know what, girl, you made the right choice. And even if you feel like you didn't, we're going to get through this and we're going to be better. We're going to be stronger. We're going to, we're going to grow from this. If you have your back, if you have that sense of, I'm going to get through this, and that sense of empowerment inside of yourself, it does not matter what happens on the outside. It doesn't matter what people, places, and things could turn upside down or go completely right. You're going to have your own back in what you chose. I'm just here to encourage you today that no matter what choice or decision that you have to make, you don't have to be 100% fearless. And I feel like sometimes we feel like that, like, oh my gosh, I have all this emotion, like, yes, deal with it. Yes, journal. And yes, have your audio journal or writing or talking to yourself in the mirror and prayer. And these things are going to help you lift the fog and have awareness. However, there comes a point where sometimes the unknown is the unknown and we aren't sure how things are going to turn out. And so in those moments, you just have to have that faith in yourself of, you know what, I'm going to walk in this with confidence. I'm going to have my back and everything is going to be okay. And so I want to encourage you in that today. And I really hope that this video was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments, what was the best part of the video for you? What's something that just struck a chord in your heart? What is something that you want to implement? Let me know down below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join the tribe so you can be a part of La Familia. And I will see you in the next one.